So could you introduce yourself? Say your name, where you go to school.
This feels so weird, but it feels like I'm on a podcast. My name is Duranze Malcolm. I'm a computer science major, sophomore, class of 2025. Sounds right. And I go to Loyola University of New Orleans. University, Loyola University. I'm sorry. I haven't had any sleep. But yeah, that's what I got going on.
I see. So you've been doing some kind of DoorDash or delivery food service work
Mhm.
a while now, right?
Mhm.
What companies do you work for?
So I've delivered for Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Waiter.
So let's get into some questions about the job. Like, what are some of the good parts of it? Let's start off.
All right. Because I am a college student. The main appeal of food delivery for me is the fact that I can make money whenever I so please for the most part. I'm not constricted to a specific time like a 9 to 5 would be, or working at Chick-fil-A or anything. So it's kind of like I have that freedom sort of sense. And that's one. The other is you get a lot of interaction with people.
Yeah.
And there's also a negative side to that, but we'll talk about that in a little second. You can have so many positive day-making interactions with people, either customers or people working at the restaurants you're picking up food from. But it can be so wholesome and so, heartwarming sometimes. Yeah. Would you like me to go in detail with some of these experiences? Or?
I'd love to, yeah.
All right. For example, it's just, I don't know, because you still have to keep it's in your best interest to keep it professional and be as nice as possible and act like you're working in any retail or fast food company, and make sure you're polite and use your manners and everything. Because on the Uber Eats app, they can tip you after. And I've gotten a lot of extra income just by communicating with customers, telling them that this item is out of stock, what would they like, and they really appreciate that, and they really show that through the app and communication as well. And then there's also sometimes generous tippers, or people who are, have a lucrative amount of money to spend. They might just, it's happened to me on multiple occasions where I've just received a extremely large tip. This one order I took for $11. It was about 10 o'clock at night. It was from Chili's, right? And it was I had to go drop the food off. They didn't order a lot of food, and it wasn't in a well neighborhood or a really rich neighborhood or anything. It was just Metairie. And I get to the door, the grandma comes out and is like, hey, I didn't want to leave too much tip on the app because of taxes. And in my mind, I'm like, that's fine with me. And the grandma hands me a bill, and I don't look at it because I'm not finna hold the bill up to the sun and be like, let me see what this is. So I take it back to my car, open my palm, and realize it's a whole $50, right? And I'm like, if that nice old lady just left me a $50, what did she leave me on the app? And she left me $25 on the app. So that was my first big tip, was $75, and that was from DoorDash. And I've also had other multiple experiences doing Uber Eats over the summer, such as, people just some guy didn't know how to work the app, and they were out of the order. I thought they were out of the items he ordered. So he's like, just cancel the order, and if you just buy it and come bring it to me, I'll just give you I have a whole $100 waiting for you. And of course, that's a steal.
Yeah.
So he does that, and he's really appreciative. So, you just find a lot of memorable human interactions through food delivery service.
What kind of people do you think deliver food or get it delivered?
Who use food delivery? Well, it can range from a wide variety. I've seen old people order for their grandchildren and other people. I've seen people who, whenever I'm delivering food, I just think maybe they're doing something time consuming and they can't leave the house, or they don't feel like it, or it's because ordering food is a little expensive, especially compared to a college student. So I would just assume that maybe they have a little extra money in their pockets, or maybe they just have money like that to be spending. But I feel like it definitely ranges.
Totally. I would say that it's becoming more commonplace these days. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, totally.
Especially with all these apps.
Yep.
Do you have any complaints about the Uber Eats company or the DoorDash company, the way they run their service?
Yeah. So when it comes to most of these food delivery apps, signing up can be a pain in the ass, if you will, because either they're quote unquote not accepting drivers in your area, and you get a automated message that denies you from joining that food delivery service because there's quote unquote no spots available. And then you try to reach out for customer support, and all these apps have terrible customer supports. They rarely do anything. If you have a problem, you're better off fixing it yourself than trying to contact customer support, because they'll tell you basic information that every DoorDash or food delivery driver already knows, or something that's just not even useful or pertains to your situation. Most of their customer support are people. I would just assume that all of them are just working in buildings. What's the direction I'm going for?
Downtown?
Nah.
East Coast?
No. I'm sorry. It's most of them are usually from India. That's what I was getting at. I'm sorry. I haven't had any sleep. And now there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just assuming, based off my knowledge of dealing with their customer support teams, this is specifically DoorDash, but Uber Eats does this as well. But I've definitely had some people of different races and backgrounds try to help me with support, but usually it's somebody from India, and they don't really provide any use for real. But there's probably small complaints that I have as well, such as right now with Uber Eats, it's really easy to accept an order by accident. That was a very minute complaint, but it still happens. DoorDash will restrict how often you can actually do DoorDash. If there's too many drivers in the area, then you can't even start a dash. You can't even make money. You have to schedule your dashes. But Uber Eats isn't like that. You can just hop on anytime.
I thought he was waving at me. You,
Did you know the guy?
yeah, I do.
I thought he was waving at you too.
Shit, what was I saying? Like,
I got a monologue.
you were just telling me that it's like difficulty because you don't want to accept the smallest orders. You want to be selective on like the high paying ones. And like the people who make the most money are pretty selective about which ones they'll take.
Yeah.
Had that experience as well.
Yeah, it's definitely should be everybody's strategy to know what works best for you, because every area you DoorDash in or do Uber Eats is different, and it's going to be different per app usually, because each app has different restaurants that they have access to. But to make good money, you have to find what works best for you. And it might not be, what might work for me might not work for everybody else, because I will say I was in Florida doing DoorDash and Uber Eats, specifically DoorDash, and it was I was in Tampa, Florida. It was a terrible location. It would never get busy, and I never seen an order more than $10.
Yeah.
So it was literally impossible for me to make any good money out there, right? But compared to over here, and let's say Metairie, where I could get anywhere from orders from, a couple bucks to 15, right? To answer your question, how I feel like it is, my personal philosophy is, there's a lot of factors that go into accepting an order, that once you have more experience with DoorDash and how these work in the area you're in, you can properly assess if this order is worth it or not. Because at the base value, for any driver starting off, you should be looking at how much money you're guaranteed at the bare minimum, how many miles it is. Now, I try to stick to at least anywhere from $1.50 on the low end, $1.75 per mile. That's a green, and then $2 per mile is usually what I strive for using Uber Eats. Now, you can't really use that method on DoorDash because of DoorDash has a lower paying orders off the bat, in my experience, in like Metairie, right? But Uber Eats, because I have access to a lot more higher paying orders, I get that ability, the privilege, if you will, to accept orders that only pay me at least $2 a mile. But also factors, sometimes a good order just might not be worth it, because at the end of the day, like I said, all those factors such as the location it's taking you to and the time it'll take for you to complete that order. Because in the restaurant you're going to, McDonald's, once, the sky turns dark, all those fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Wendy's, and all those have fewer staff working, so the lines are really long. So, for example, if it's 9 o'clock and I get an order from McDonald's that's $10 for 3 miles, which is a really good order,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to take it. Even though it's a really good order, I know that McDonald's is more likely than not to have a long line, and it's just not worth my time, because in that entire time I could have gotten a better order and been halfway done to completing that. And it's all about managing your time efficiency.
I have a couple questions. So, say like you're getting on average 50 miles an hour. First of all, what do you
Well, the thing about doing these food deliveries is that they're never completely consistent. Now I feel like it's important for you to grasp how much money you've made. Every hour, like, okay, I've made $30 this hour. I made $15 this hour. I'm slacking a little bit. It's not as busy. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your hourly, as you're door dashing and everything, your hourly isn't going to be consistent. You're going to make a little bit more this one. You're going to make a little bit less over here. You might have a really good first starting hour. It'll be slow the entire day, and then have a really busy end day, right? But usually on average, I make about anywhere to, on average, I'd say about $20 an hour. But that's only because I take how long I was door dashing by how much I made that day, including tips and all that. So I usually make around anywhere from 100 to 170 on a good day. And I work 5-6 hours.
So it sounds like the amount that you can get paid per hour fluctuates a lot.
Yeah. Also depends on the orders you take, but
What kind of day it is. So my question would be, say you were getting paid a flat wage where it just stayed the same, and you just had a list of orders that you had to complete in a day, and you just have to get that list done. Would that be better for you or worse for you, do you think?
well, it's hard to say. It would depend on the amount that I'm getting paid, the amount of orders, and the distance of those orders. Because if I do the calculations and I'm wasting more gas, or it might not be worth my time. Even though I'm getting paid a guaranteed flat rate, it just might not be worth my time.
So you're saying that doing delivery forces you to constantly be aware of your time, what you're doing with your time,
Yeah.
the value of your time.
Yeah.
Another quick question was, so you do this at night? Is that ever like a sketchy experience?
I do it from 5 to about 10, 11. But no, not really.
That's good. You do it in the New Orleans area here?
That's another thing. I really try to stay away from the New Orleans area sometimes because, traffic, going down into the heart of the city, and dealing with parking, and maybe you have to deliver an order in a hotel. It's just it can add a lot of time, unnecessary time, or minor inconveniences that can cost you money in the long run. So I try my best to avoid the city, but that's where the sketchy areas are as well.
And you rely on the car a lot to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, like car expenses.
Yep.
I think the most important thing to me before we finish this is like for me to get your thoughts about like first of all like the state of your future and like the state of the world right now.
Because my grandma's like, oh, because my
It doesn't have to be too broad, but should be about like things in general, not just like the state of DoorDash. Like one question is, sorry for the long-winded explanation, but are you saving for the future?
Wait, so could you narrow the question down for me? What is it you're asking specifically? Are you asking how does my future look as I continue to do DoorDash, or?
I mean, like, what other jobs do you hope to have? What other kind of jobs?
Are you asking the longevity of how I'll treat DoorDash?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I treat it as a side job. I'm obviously in college, so I would like to pursue a future in my degree path. That's that. The future of DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that really depends on them. Because if they start paying their drivers less, then that'll obviously affect the overall state of everything. Or if new incentives come out for Dashers, that boosts our motivation to go and Dash and alleviate some costs toward us. So,
Where do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I really couldn't give you that. It's 50-50 for me.
After this, I have to warn you, I gotta take a picture for the record. That's okay with you? And do you want to say that? What's the state of the world like in 2 sentences? Since this will be on a historical record.
What is the state of the world right now? Oh, wait, I was repeating the question to make sure that's what...
Yeah, that is a question.
I zoned out.
I was on that.
Wait, what was the question again? I forgot it.
So what is the state of the world in your opinion?
What was the question?
The question is, what is something that you would say to someone who's listening to this 10 years from now?
Wait, I was fucking with you. Is that the question, or is the old question the question?
It's the same question.
It's not the same question. It's 2 different questions.
What question do you want to answer?
I'll answer the first question. What is the state of the world right now in? I don't know. I guess you could say we're in times of uncertainty. There's changes afoot, especially in our government, that can lead to a better or worse future. And whether we do something about certain laws and acts right now all depends on us, and our willingness to accept or deny these changes. Also, everything else we're doing, everything we do has an impact on the earth and society. and our futures, and along with everybody else's. So I don't know if people are actually concerned or worried about their effects on everything else as, college students. A lot of people are lost, confused, misguided, easily manipulated. But also you got a group of endearing people that can, stick together and fight against the common threat. I definitely feel like our generation especially has the best sense of humor. We can take jokes, but conflicts arise, and is this too long of an answer?
No.
Conflicts definitely arise when it comes to deviating from the same path as, our not our ancestors. What's the word I'm looking for? Our past generations. So that's that.
It's a wonderful answer. I'm trying to think of something to sum that up, to come back to, but probably shouldn't think too hard.
Don't bust the brain cell.
It's true. Alright. Unless you have any more thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get to complain about the negatives of people in the food delivery.
Yeah.
Some people just don't deserve to interact with other people at all. Sounds cruel because we're all humans, we're all social beings, but some people just weren't taught a level of respect, manners, and dignity that one should go around in this world with. For example, a level of entitlement comes with some demographics of people who order DoorDash or Uber Eats. For example, in Florida, I'm delivering food. I check the address where this order goes. Oh, I got the right address. I go and deliver the food. I get a call 2 seconds later from the customer. And they're like, hey, did you just order some food? Did you just deliver some food? And I was like, yeah. It was like, well, I think you got the wrong house. And I was like, no, I got the right house. The one that was on the address. He's like, then I explained the door and everything around. He's like, oh, that's my neighbor's. And he's like, well, are you going to come and fix the error you made?
Yeah.
And the guy lived across the street. He was either across the street or next door. But either way, he should not feel that level of entitlement. I was already 5 to 10 minutes away. He thinks, and he was pissed when I told him I wasn't coming back. In his mind, he thought it was my obligation, after he made a mistake and entered his address wrong, that it was my obligation to come and solve his problem instead of him getting out of his house and walking over across the street to get his own food. Now that's somewhat mild. I bet other DoorDashers have worse experiences than that, but that's about it.
Do you ever talk to other dashers or deliverers?
Yeah.
Do you have like a community?
Yeah. Like, you can tell when somebody's a dasher or Uber Eats just based off how they're holding their phone. Like, I walk into a restaurant and if I see a group of people holding their phone, I'm like, all these people are waiting on orders. And I ask, how long you guys been waiting here, and that'll tell me all the information I need. They'll be like, man, I've been waiting here 15 minutes. I've been waiting here 30. Then that's my cue. Based off all the data,
Yeah.
that means I should cancel this order because I'm not finna wait 15, 30 minutes. Like I said, time is money. So, or I'll be like, dang, they got y'all over here like that. And they'd be like, we might have some conversation if I'm waiting for the order. Or, yeah.
So you would say you have a rapport with the other drivers.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
And also people, I guess this goes for everything in every community, but I especially enjoy when I'm talking to somebody, or I'm delivering food, right? And then I'm letting this person know, oh, hey, this store is out of this item. And they're like, hey, don't even worry about it, man. Just get whatever. I used to be a driver. I know how this works. Just do what you do best. And that makes me happy because this person understands my struggle and what I go through on a day-to-day basis doing this. So they feel that level of sympathy enough to help me out and make this order as easy as possible for me, as well as for them.
Yeah. How could people who aren't drivers help out?
Is it like a cute tan?
I would probably just say to I don't know. I guess I don't know. Treat your drivers with respect too, because at the end of the day, they're people.
Yeah.
If the restaurant messed up your order and messed up the label and gave it to the dasher, and the dasher delivered it to you, why are you as a person, scolding the dasher when that's not the dasher's fault? And also ask questions, because a lot of people assume how these apps work and they really don't know as a dasher. So it's I guess just have an open mind when it comes to using these food delivery apps.
Yeah. You see a lot of entitlement, the way people act towards other people. Do you see any possibility of union organizing within the delivery driver community?
At school or like,
In general.
I mean, if they go to shit, then 100%. That's how I would assume rallies and protests happen. They cut the wages of everybody working in a factory. That factory is going to revolt. And if they do the same thing with DoorDash drivers, or they implement a stupid feature or something, then yeah, I feel like we're going to stand for what we had and this, that, and the third. So it's definitely not an impossibility.
Okay. I'm not part of this history. I'm just trying to record it, I think, is the goal. So I appreciate you getting on here, saying thoughts and feelings.
I got you.
We did good.
Oh, can I stop recording? Is that it?